ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चना गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, so welcome everyone. We are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4. We are on chapter 9. So in this chapter, last time we discussed how Dhruv Maharaj, after he was insulted by his mother stepmother Suruchi, he went to his mother and Suniti instructed him to go and worship Lord Vishnu. Because Lord Vishnu has the heart of millions of mothers. What can I do? I am a one single mother. And then following the instructions of his mother, he went to the forest, and Narad Muni, he was directed by the Supreme Lord, and he came to this place where Dhruva was going, and he tested Dhruv Maharaj. Oh, you're a small boy. Why are you getting so disturbed by all this insult? Go back to the palace. When you grow old, then you do all these things. Anyways, it is very difficult to please Lord Vishnu. So Dhruva said, if you want to help me in my desires, then I can hear you. Otherwise, I can't hear all your instructions. So Narad Muni tested him, and Dhruv Maharaj, he passed the test, and then ultimately he gave him the process of Ashtanga Yoga, and primarily that was the process of devotional service. He gave him the process of worshipping the deity of the Lord and meditating on the form of the Lord. And he gave him a mantra also, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Dhruv Maharaj, he went to Madhuvan. He did tapasya for 6 months. Intense tapasya he did. Lord appeared. And Dhruv Maharaj, he wanted to offer prayers, but as a small child, he could not offer because he didn't know anything. So Lord touched the forehead of Dhruva with his conch shell, and he imparted all the knowledge, all the realizations. And then in the last class, we heard the wonderful prayers of Dhruv Maharaj. So in those prayers, Dhruva, he tells that, oh my Lord, you have enlivened all my senses, and you are the supreme creator, maintainer, and you only destroy this universe. By your mercy, I have understood this, and I want association of your devotees. I don't want to go to Brahmalok also, or I don't want to go in Brahman, because after having your darshan, Brahmanand is insignificant. I was looking for some material things. That material pleasures are also insignificant now in front of you. So in the last verse we discussed was this verse, Satyasisho hi bhagavam stava pad padma. Oh my Lord, you are the supreme personified form of benedictions. Ashish tathanubhajatah purushartha murte, one who abides in your devotional service with no other desire. Worshipping your lotus feet is better than becoming a king or having a kingdom. And a foolish person like me, I have worshipped you for material desires, for material benedictions. But you are like a cow. Even if the calf, goes and tries to get into some difficult situation, A cow always protects the calf. So you are like the cow. Vashreyo vatsakam anugraha katarosman. So please protect me, O my Lord. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that the Lord is thinking, oh, because he is young boy, and even though he does not know pure bhakti to me, I'll give him a taste of pure bhakti. So he's foolish person. He doesn't know. But Lord knows everything. Lord is like a cow who gives the milk to the calf. And Chakravarti Thakur writes, Dhruva is saying, Lord should let me have the taste of the sweetness of bhakti and protect me from the obstacles to bhakti in the form of material desires. So that's why he's addressing Lord as Vashreva Vatsakam. You are like the cow. So please protect me from all the material desires and give me the milk of your pure devotional service. Prabhupada writes, the Lord is so merciful that not only does he fulfill the desires of a devotee, but he also gives a devotee all protection. So this is the way our devotee should approach the Lord. Dhruva Maharaj, first he expressed his fallen condition, and then he said, oh my Lord, I wanted some material things. Please forgive me for that, and please give me pure devotional service. Just like in Damodarashtakam, there's a verse, Namo Deva Damodar Ananta Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukkha Jalabdhi Magnam. He's praying, oh my Lord, I am falling in this Jal Abdhi Magnam, in this net of material existence. And I am ignorant. Kripa drishti vrishtyati dinam ati dina. I am very, very distressed. And grihanesha mam agya. I am ignorant also. So please protect me. So that's how Dhruva Maharaj offered his beautiful prayers. Prabhupada writes, devotional service is called ahetuki. And Dhruva Maharaj knew that he had come for some material desires. But now, after seeing the Lord face to face, he understood that, okay, all these material desires are nothing. And he understood that ahetuki bhakti will only satisfy the heart. Even after running for all the things of the world, one can never be satisfied. So then, after this, Lord, he went back. He offered benedictions to Dhruva, whatever he wanted. And then he went back. So Maitreya Muni is now continuing the discussion. So now Lord is speaking. We'll recite this. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Vedaham Te Vyavasitam Ridhi Rajanya Balaka Tat Prayachami Bhadram Te Durapam Api Suvrata Ved Aham. I know the desire of your mind, O Dhruva. Vyavasitam, you have done such serious and severe austerity, O Rajanya Balaka, O son of the king. I know your heart. Tat prayachami, I shall favor you with its fulfillment. Although he's not asking for it, but still he's saying, because you prayed for that, I will fulfill. Although durapam, it is very, very difficult to get. Suvrata, durapam api suvrata. So your desire is very ambitious. What Dhruva wanted? Greater than Brahma. So many times, many places Lord says that I already know your desires. I already, know when all the devatas, they go to Lord Vishnu in the 10th canto along with Bhumi Devi, and they tell, oh, Mother Earth is being distressed and overburdened. Lord says, I already know. So we may be thinking, oh my Lord, I am suffering, I am chanting and I am doing so many things. Bhagwan ko मालूम है क्या? मेरा इतना तपस्या चल रहा है, Lord knows. Lord knows all our problems. Lord knows all our minds, all our distress, all our stress. Everything is known by the Lord. So the Lord is ready to give whatever a devotee wants. Prabhupada writes, the fact is that Dhruv Maharaj was very much afraid in his mind, for he had aspired for material benefit. Now he has become a pure devotee. So now he is thinking, oh no, I have asked for material desires. Those material desires should not become a obstacle in my path of pure devotional service. So therefore, Lord is assuring Dhruv Maharaj that he would not be bereft of pure love. Prabhupada writes, generally, the Lord does not award a pure devotee material opulence, even though he may desire it. But Dhruv Maharaj's case was different. So now this is very important to understand, who will be given material opulence and who will not be given material opulence. Because generally people think ये विष्णु के पास जाएंगे तो कुछ संसार का देते ही नहीं है, खाली हरे कृष्णा पकड़ा देंगे, माला पकड़ा देंगे, I'll not become rich. So Prabhupada writes, Lord knew that he was such a great devotee that in spite of having material opulence, he would never be deviated from love of God. So if Lord has this confidence कि भाई इसको दूंगा तो ये भक्ति छोड़ के इंद्र तृप्ति में नहीं लगेगा, then he will give. Just like Sudama, when he returns with nothing, he went to ask something and Krishna didn't give him anything. खाली embrace किया और अच्छे से आवभगत करके and भेज दिया, and Sudama is happy and he tells, why Lord didn't give me anything? Because he didn't know कि अभी इतना सारा उनको already दे दिया है. अधनोयम धनम प्राप्य माद्यन उच्चय न तुमाम स्मरेत इति कारणुको नूनम dhanam me bhurina dadat. So Sudama is thinking, he says, Adhanoyam, Lord thought that I am a poverty stricken. Dhanam prapya, isko dhan dunga, madhyan, out of, he'll become intoxicated. Natumam smaret, he'll not remember me. Iti karuniko nunam, therefore out of his mercy, dhanam me bhuri nadadat, he didn't give me wealth. So that's the criteria. Who will get material opulence, who will not get material opulence? By worship of the Lord. So generally, Lord gives material things also, but he purifies the heart. Lord gave to Prahlad Maharaj. He took away everything from Bali Maharaj. But the ultimate result was the same. He gave himself to Bali Maharaj. He became the doorkeeper at the gate of Sutala. So therefore, Lord does whatever is good for a devotee to advance in bhakti. If he thinks he is really disturbed, he needs some material wealth, okay, he'll give it. So that's how Dhruva is now regretting. Lord is not like a shopkeeper. You go and pay and he'll give you. He will give, seeing that this person will not go away from bhakti, then I'll give. Otherwise, he may give in a different way. So that's how he's saying. So now, Lord, he gives Dhruva so many things. And he says, oh Dhruva, I shall award you the planet of the pole star, Dhruva Loka. That planet is not given to anyone so far. Nobody has achieved this destination. This will continue to exist even after the dissolution. Nobody has ruled this planet so far. All the stars and all the other planets, they revolve around, circumambulate this star, keeping the star as a center. On the right side, pradakshina, they'll do pradakshina of this. Dakshina means the right. So when we keep anything to the right side and we circumambulate, that is called as pradakshina. So he's saying, I'll give you this planet of Dhruva, which is not given to anyone. It is the highest. So geographically speaking, this Dhruva Loka is not the highest planet in this material world. Above Dhruva Loka is Maharaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Swara, all that, Satyaloka. But this is higher in the sense of the glories. Dhruva Loka is higher than any other place because Lord is personally residing there. So that's how Prabhupada writes, at the end of Brahma's life, selected personalities go back home, back to Godhead. Dhruva Maharaj is one of them. Lord assured Dhruva that he would exist beyond the partial dissolution. At the end of the complete dissolution, he would go to Vaikuntha Loka. So he gave benedictions that you rule this planet, you rule this Bhumandal, and you rule for 36,000 years. After that, you go to Dhruva Loka. Picture udhar se nikal ke. After that, you go to Dhruva Loka and you stay till the end of Brahma Loka or Brahma's life, and then you go back to Vaikuntha. So now after this, Lord predicts the death of Suruchi and Uttam. So Lord is predicting. He says, sometime in future, your brother Uttam will go to the forest for hunting and he'll be killed by the Yakshas. And then your stepmother Suruchi, she will be really maddened by the death of her son. She'll also go to the forest and she'll be devoured by the forest fire. So Prabhupada in the purport, he writes about the dangers of Vaishnava Aparadh. Suruchi insulted Dhruva when he was just 5 years old. And this happens when he was not a devotee. Devotee nahi hai. And he's just such a 5 years old boy. That time he offends or insults Dhruva. But the reaction comes after he becomes a devotee. And after many, many years, this comes. So that is, Prabhupada writes, we should be very, very careful. We should not insult a Vaishnava, and for that matter, we should not insult anyone unnecessarily. आगे चल के devotee बन गया, you know. And even if he doesn't become a devotee, we should be careful not to insult anyone. Prabhupada writes, when one serves a Vaishnava unknowingly, one still gets the good result. And if one unknowingly insults, one suffers the bad result. So it is not that, unknowingly I have insulted, I didn't know that he is getting insulted and offended. You will get the reaction. So of course, Suruchi later, she developed a very loving affection for Dhruva after he returned back. And she was really very affectionate. Then why this happened to Suruchi? Why Lord, somebody may say, अरे भी उत्तम की क्या गलती थी उसमें? Uttam was just sitting on the lap of his father. What wrong he had done? He didn't suffer because of the insults. He suffered because of some previous karmic reaction. And Lord planned it in such a way that, okay, because, he also was the part of this whole scene. So he also was given this punishment. So Lord is arranging the karma of Suruchi and Uttama. Of course, because they became favorable to Dhruva Maharaj, so very affectionate. So therefore, they must have gone some wonderful destination. So now, he describes. He continues. Ishtva mam yagyaridayam yagyah pushkala dakshinaihi bhuktva chehashishah satya ante mam samsmarishyasi. Ishtva mam yagyaridayam, I am the heart of all sacrifices. Yagyah pushkala dakshinaihi, and you will perform many great sacrifices. You will do great charity. And in this way, bhuktva, you will enjoy material happiness in this world. For a long time, you will enjoy, and then the best part is the last line. Ante mam samsmarishyasi. You will remember me also. Achha na? You will enjoy also for 36,000 years, and you will also remember me. So Prabhupada writes, the most important factor in this verse is how to remember Supreme Lord at the end of life. Ante Narayana Smriti. Etavan Sankhya Yoga Abhyam Swadharma Parinishthaya Janmalabha Parapumsam Ante Narayana Smriti. So Ante Narayana Smriti is very important. So Dhruva had this guarantee, this benediction that you enjoy, but you will not be affected. That's what he gives, Lord gives to all the devotees. प्रहलाद को भी वही बोले, And anybody who becomes a great devotee, Bali Maharaj also same benediction. Sutal is a more opulent than heavenly planet. Sutal is more opulent, although it is geographically lower than Bhumandal, but still it is more heavenly, more opulent. Okay, so then Prabhupada writes, our Krishna consciousness movement is designed to teach people the exact instruction of the Supreme Lord. Ante mam samsmarishyasi. Then what will happen? Tato gantasi matsthanam sarvaloka namaskritam uparishtad rishibhyastvam yato navartate gatah. Oh my dear Dhruva, after your material life in this body is over, tato gantasi matsthanam, you will come to my abode. Sarva loka namaskritam, that supreme abode of mine is worshipped by all the other planetary systems. And it is situated above all the planets. And after going there, yato na vartate, you will never come back. Krishna says also in Bhagavad Gita, yad gatva na nivartante, once you go, you never return. So after saying this, Lord returned back and Dhruva, he was looking. So now, Dhruva, he got the best of the benedictions. He got darshan of the Lord, but still, Maitreya Muni says he was not pleased. Sopi sankalpajam Vishno pada sevopasaditam prapya sankalpa nirvanam nati prito abhyagatpuram. Sopi sankalpajam, whatever he desired, sankalpa jiske liye karke aaye, he achieved it. Pada sevopasaditam, because he was worshipping the lotus feet of the Lord, he attained his desired destination. Prapya sankalpa nirvanam, even after attaining the conclusion of his vow, whatever he desired, he achieved it. But nati prito, still he was not pleased. And with a very sad heart, he returned back. So, although he was really advanced, now Dhruva is a pure devotee, but still he is very sad. Why he is sad? Because he is thinking about his past conditionings. He is thinking about his past impressions, what type of desires I had, why I came. So a sadhaka, this is a very, very interesting thing. A sadhaka, as a practicing devotee, we may begin devotional service with some ulterior desires. Some people, they come to Krishna for arto artharti jigyasu jnani. But, if one is sincere and honest and starts practicing devotional service, Lord purifies the heart. And then the more one is purified, the more one realizes, what I was asking for. So if the attitude is pure, and even if the effort doesn't bear some fruits, he'll get satisfaction. If the attitude is pure, I tried my best, but kya kare, abhi nahi mila, koi baat nahi, I am satisfied. But if the attitude is not pure, even if he gets the fulfillment of his desires, the result is nati prito. So the attitude matters a lot. If we are having pure attitude, then we will be satisfied. So the whole journey of Krishna consciousness is to purify our attitude, purify our desires. So that's how Lord deals with his devotees. Lord gave him everything, but Dhruva is thinking, why did I ask it? So now Vidurji, he is asking, Aisa kaise? Why he was not satisfied? Vidura uvacha sudurlabham yat paramam padam hare maya vinasta charanarchanarjitam labdhvapya siddharthamivaika janmana katham swamatmanam amanyatarthavit. So Vidurji is asking, He attained Sudurlabham Yat Paramam Padam. He attained the most difficult destination. He attained the abode of the Lord. And that destination is achieved by even great yogis after many, many lifetimes. He attained it in one lifetime. That too in 6 months. Katham Swamatmanam. He was very wise. Asanida, he didn't know what he has got. He was very wise. He was Arthavit. Arthavit means, Prabhupada writes, one who knows what is good, what is bad. He knew what he has received. Why he was not so happy? He knew the value of benedictions. Someone is not aware of the diamond, may lament for having no wealth, even if he has diamond. It's like somebody said, was telling a story that one old lady, her son went to went abroad, and every month he was sending a letter. And this lady, she had no contact. She was just receiving letter. And she was thinking, my son has gone, and she was a very poor lady, and my son is not sending any money. So she became so poor, she was begging. So, one person, after a few months, he said, oh, your son has gone to West and he is not sending you money. She says, no, my son sends me letters, and there are some other, some things in that, but I don't know, he's not sending any money. So he said, kya kiya wo sabka? So I have put in the, in my home on the wall, I have stuck it as a memory of my son. So he went and saw there were the checks of, 1 lakh rupees. So she was not aware. So that means she was foolish person, lady. But Dhruva was Arthavit. He knew the value of what he had received. Why he was not so happy? She was morose because she was not knowing what was she getting. Dhruva knew why he was still lamenting. So Maitreya Muni, he starts answering. Maitreya Uvacha Matu Swapatnya Vakbanai Hriday Viddhastutan Smaran Naichan Mukti Pater Muktim Tasmata Pamupaivan Matu Swapatnya Vakbanai. Vakban means the harsh words. They were like the arrows. So hearing the sharp words of his stepmother, Hriday Viddha, heart was pierced. He was really disturbed, greatly aggrieved. And although he was fixed on his goal, he didn't, forget the misbehavior. But na icchan mukti pater muktin. So therefore, Dhruva is thinking, because of this desire of mine, I didn't ask for the highest benediction. And I was asking for some material pleasures. Tasmat tapam upaivan. Simply he was ashamed. That these were the desires in my mind. So a devotee is always humble, thinking about his previous conditionings, previous nature. So if somebody thinks, now I have no material desires, now I have become an advanced devotee, become humble, thinking how you were when you were not in Krishna consciousness. What were your desires? What was our desire? Chakravarti Thakur writes, on directly meeting the Lord, what is the question of remembering the harsh words of his stepmother? Since all his senses had become spiritualized, he says, Yonta pravishyamam vacham imam prasuptam. You have enlivened all my senses, you have made them all spiritual. Dhruva, he is ashamed and he is repenting. My Lord knows my crime of possessing material desires, since he remembers my previous vow. I am so foolish. Why did I make such a vow? And just see, when I was offering prayers, Lord was thinking I am just deceiving him. Abhi acha acha bol raha hai, although he had some desires. Therefore, he did not clearly fulfill that desire of mine. I asked for pure devotional service. I didn't ask for anything else. But Lord was thinking he is just deceiving me. So therefore, he gave me all the material things. So in the next 6 verses, he is revealing his qualities of shame, repentance, humility, and disgust. What Lord told about my mother and stepbrother, they'll die because of me, because they offended me, they'll die. So that's how he is thinking. Prabhupada writes, this important verse has been discussed by many stalwart commentators. This is a very important verse. Why Dhruva was disturbed, why he was not pleased. So pure devotee is always free from material desires, and therefore Dhruva, because he was thinking that, oh, I had some revengeful attitude towards my stepmother and my brother, that's why I could not think of pure devotional service. And Lord gave me all these material desires, all these material benedictions because of that. So he was thinking that I got an opportunity to render devotional service in Madhuvan. I got a guru like Narad Muni, but still I asked for material things. That was the cause of moroseness. So Prabhupada writes, Krishna is so affectionate towards his devotee that although the motive might be impure, the Lord does not consider the motive. He is concerned with service. Seva kiya na, he served me. Although he came with a material motive, but he served me. That's how Lord is adoshadarshi. He always sees the good things. He never ever sees faults in his devotee. So that's how he was ashamed that, oh, I got such a wonderful opportunity, but I could not ask for the best thing. And then Dhruva is thinking that I got the darshan of the Lord in 6 months. All the big sages and the Naishtik brahmacharis, they are working and doing tapasya for many lifetimes. They are not getting darshan. And I got darshan in 6 months. And just see what I asked for. I asked for material things. It is just like, famous story of old lady was going and, she was praying to, oh Lord, please help me. And Lord appeared and what she asked, idhar zyada bhari ho raha hai, idhar se utha ke idhar rakho, So he was thinking like this. So Prabhupada writes, he expected that the Lord would take him to his abode immediately without waiting. अभी तो अभी लेके जाएंगे ना. But Lord gave him benediction. You rule here for 36,000 years. So it is a big tapasya for a devotee to stay in this world and rule. So therefore he is always remembering his past sinful life. Ahobat mama natmayam mandabhagasya pashyata bhavachchidah padamulam gatva yache yadantavat. Oh, just see how unfortunate I am. Mandabhagasya. What was my unfortunate thing? Bhavachchida padamulam. I achieved the lotus feet of the Lord and they can destroy it. They cut the cycle of birth and death. But what I asked? Gatva yache yadantavat. I asked for perishable things. Just see. I asked for those which are not worth asking. Prabhupada writes, a devotee should always be anya abhilashita shunya. So anya abhilashita means no desires other than serving the Lord, but that includes the desire for self-preservation and desire for the well-being of near and dear ones. Anya abhilashita. Otherwise, there should be no other desires or material things. Saveda dhatum padamim parasya duranta viryasya rathanga pane yo mayaya santataya anuvritya bhajeta tatpada sarojagandham. Yo amayaya santataya anuvritya. These three qualities are very important to practice devotional service. Amayaya. Amayaya means without any pretensions. Santataya, continuous. Anuvritya, following the footsteps of previous acharyas. So he's thinking, I asked for material things. And then he says, for sure, these devatas contaminated my intelligence. Matir vidushita devai patadbhir asahishnubihi yonarad vachastatyam nagrahi shamasattamaha. These intolerant demigods have dissipated my good intelligence. They could not tolerate my, elevation in Krishna consciousness. Asahishnubi. So therefore they contaminated. Otherwise, how was it possible that I could not accept the instructions of Narad Muni? So, devatas are not in picture at all. So of course, everybody is controlled by the devatas. All the bodily parts are controlled by devatas. But here, the mood is something different. It's just like, we may do something wrong and we may blame some superiors. I was not able to see. You had the power to see, right? Why you didn't stop me? तुमको दिख रहा था ना? You are able to see. So that is the mood in which, desperately Dhruva is saying, all these devatas, they could not tolerate. Okay, so then he continues. Devim mayamupashritya prasupta iva bhinnadrik tapye dvitiyapyas asati bhratri bhratrivyaridruja. Definitely, I was influenced by the illusory energy of the Lord. Devi Maya Upashritya. I was sleeping on her lap. Jiva Jago, Gaura Chandra Bole, Koto Nidra Jayo Maya, Pishachira Kole. We were all sleeping. Maya Devi is nicely making her sleep, and then she slaps also in between. And as the living entity gets up, well, then kuch nahi, go back to sleep. That's what Maya Devi keeps doing. She keeps, slapping, and then she says, no, kuch nahi, go back to sleep. Tappe dvitiye api asti. Therefore, under the illusion of this duality, I was seeing my brother as my enemy. And I was lamenting, oh, these are my enemies. Prabhupada writes, real knowledge is revealed to a devotee only when he comes to the conclusion about life by the grace of the Lord. So Prahlad Maharaj, he also developed this knowledge at the age of 5 by the mercy of course, he was born as a pure devotee by the mercy of Narad Muni. So Dhruv Maharaj also became such a self-realized soul by the mercy of Narad Muni and now by the mercy of the Lord. Prabhupada writes, he quotes this verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Dvaite bhadra bhadra gyan sab mano dharma ei bhala ei manda sab mano bhram. If we see dualities in this world, this is mine and this is not mine. This is good for me, this is not good for me. It is all illusion. Because ultimately everything is bad in this world. Whether good things or bad things, they both bind us. So therefore he says, I was illusioned. Mayaitat prarthitam vyartham chikitseva gatayushi prasadya jagadatmanam tapasa dushprasadanam bhavachidam maya cheham bhavam bhagya vivarjitaha. Vyarthitam prarthitam. I prayed for useless things. And it was exactly like the treatment given to a person who is already dead. Your Lord is giving me all the material things. It is like treating a dead person, because anything you get in this world, it is not going to solve the problems of birth, old age, disease, and death. It is like decorating the dead body. Mandanam lokaranjanam. It is like all the good things of the world is like decorating the dead body. It is not going to help. Prasadya jagadatmanam tapasa dushprasadanam. Although it is very difficult to satisfy the Supreme Lord, I satisfied him. So he is repeating the same thing again and again. होता है ना ऐसा desperation में, when you are really disturbed, you say keep saying the same thing, बार बार वही बोलते रहते हैं, you know. That's what Dhruva is telling. Again and again, I satisfied the Supreme Lord. I asked for material things. Bhavachhideya yacheham. I could, get the highest destination. I asked for material things. So he's repeating the same thing. Swarajyam yachhato maudhyan. Mano me bhikshito bataha. Ishvara shena punyena. Falikarani vadhanaha. Swarajyam yachhato. Lord offered me Swarajya. Swarajya means? That is, general meaning is Swaraj means independent kingdom. So Lord gave me his supreme abode, his personal service. But yachhato maudhyan, I asked for foolish things. Again, he's saying the same thing. But bano me bhikshito bata, I wanted name, fame, prosperity. Ishvara shina punyena. Why? Because I didn't have sufficient punya. I didn't have bhakti punya. There are three types of punya. Sukriti. There is Sukriti means generally we think by which one comes to devotional service. There are three types of Sukriti. Bhogonmukhi Sukriti, Mokshonmukhi Sukriti, and Bhakti Unmukhi Sukriti. So Bhogonmukhi Sukriti means if somebody does pious activities in the past life, he had done in the past life like helping others, giving charity, distributing food, opening hospitals. What will he get in the next life? He'll get the chance to enjoy sense gratification. Bhogonmukhi Sukriti. Mokshonmukhi Sukriti means if he has practiced jnana or yoga or tapa, it will be conducive for him to continue the same thing. What is Bhakti Unmukhi Sukriti? If somebody has served a devotee unconsciously or consciously, or appreciated anything about Krishna consciousness, or practiced devotional service personally, that will help him or her to practice devotional service in the next life. It will be easy for him or her. So he is saying, I didn't have sufficient Bhakti Unmukhi Sukriti, that's why I could not ask for devotional service.
So second one is which one?
Mokshonmukhi. So Prabhupada focuses on this word Swarajya. Swarajya means complete independence. And what is complete independence? To be situated in one's constitutional position. That is Swarajya. Mukti hitva anyatha rupam swarupena vyavasthiti. What is actual mukti? When you get situated in your constitutional position. And Prabhupada writes, all these political leaders, they try to establish independence, but due to such so-called independence, the people's dependence is only increased. They have become dependent on so many things. So therefore, one should not ask for the material things. One should ask for pure devotional service. So now, after describing all these things, Maitreya Muni is now glorifying Vidurji. Because of you, I am getting chance to speak all this. And you are like a great devotee. You never asked for material things. Dhruva is lamenting that I asked material things. You never asked for material things. Maitreya uvacha. Na vai mukundasya padara vindayo. Rajo jushastat bhavadrisha jana. Vanchanti tadyasya mriterthamatmano. Yadrichaya labdhamana samriddhayaha. Bhavadrisha jana. Oh my dear Vidura, persons like you who are pure devotees of the Lord's lotus feet. Mukundasya padara vindaya. That Supreme Lord who is Mukunda, who can award liberation, but you, devotees like you are attached to their lotus feet. You don't ask for any material things. Vanchanti tad dasyam. They only want one thing, service to the lotus feet Apart from that, they don't want any other material things in any condition of life. Yadrichaya labdhamana samriddhaya, they are always satisfied. So that is how Maitreya Muni is glorifying Vidurji, that you are such a great devotee. Previously also he glorified, Vidurji glorified Maitreya Muni, that because of you I am getting chance to, hear. Maitreya Muni said, I am getting your association, that is greater benediction. So that is the wonderful relationship between the audience and the speaker. So Prabhupada writes, one has to discharge devotional service without being disturbed by any material desires. And then Prabhupada writes, what is actually desirelessness? Bhukti, mukti, siddhi, kami, sakalya, shanta, Krishna bhakta, nishkama, ateva, shanta. All the desires of this world will make one only restless. But there is only one thing which will make one peaceful, when one develops relationship with the Supreme Lord. And that desire is real desirelessness. Desire to serve the Lord is real desirelessness. So then after this, Maitreya Muni continues the story, what happened. So now Dhruva is returning back. Narad Muni had already informed that your son is coming in some time, don't worry. He could not believe, because he was thinking, my 5 years old boy, he has gone to forest. I think he must be dead. Because how will he survive in the forest? All the ferocious animals are there. But he kept faith in the words of Narad Muni, and he was so very happy. A messenger came and he informed, your son is coming. He gave his own necklace to the messenger. He was so very happy. And then out of his eagerness, he came out of the city on the chariot, along with Suruchi, Suniti and Uttam. They all came. So by now, Chakravarti Thakur writes that king, from the day that Dhruva left the palace, king felt remorse, and comforted by Narada, he showed favor to Dhruva's mother after that, and did not show favor to Uttama's mother. But now Dhruva is returning. So Suniti, she is now the favorite queen. She is favored by her husband. She brought Suruchi and Uttam along with her. She didn't say, oh, now she is going through right thing. She brought both of them. So that's why it is said, Suniti, Suruchi and Uttam, they all came. And when they saw Dhruva coming back, Uttanpad, he got down from the chariot, he ran and embraced Dhruva. He was so very happy. And this boy, it is described that he had destroyed all his sins. He had achieved the lotus feet of the Lord. So King Uttanpad, out of his love, he smelled the head of Dhruva again and again, embraced him, and he bathed him with cold tears. So Prabhupada writes, say, cold tear kya hota hai? Khushi ke aansu. So Prabhupada writes, by nature's way, when a man cries, there may be two causes. When one cries in great happiness, the tears coming forth from the eyes are very cold and pleasing. Whereas tears in time of distress are very hot. Next time, आप लोग test कर लीजिए. I've heard this point. Yeah, it is there. So he's crying. खुशी के आंसू मतलब गरम नहीं रहते हैं. So he's crying cold tears. So now, Dhruva, he bowed down to Suniti, and he bowed down to Suruchi also. Why he bowed down to Suruchi, who had given him such great suffering? Because now he is described as Dhruva has become Sadjana Agranihi. He has become the best of the noblemen. So he didn't see all the past things which she had done to me. He bowed down to both the mothers. Prabhupada writes, Dhruva paid obeisances to Suruchi also because after seeing the Lord, he was completely free from all the contamination. Feelings of insult and honor are never perceived by a devotee. As Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Tulya ninda sutirmoni santushto yena kenachit aniketa sthirmatir yomat bhakta same priya. He is equipoised. When somebody praises him, He doesn't feel, you only have understood me. And if somebody insults him, he doesn't know my glories. बाकियों को बुला के लाते हैं. They will tell. He is equipoised. He is not so happy. He is not disturbed when somebody is, insulting him. And then Suruchi, she blessed him. She embraced him and said, "May you live long, O my child." How is it that Suruchi is showing affection to Dhruva? She hated him before. So he is telling the reason. Yasya prasanno bhagavan gunair maitriyadibhi harihi tasmai namanti bhutani nimna map ivaswayam. Tasya prasanno bhagavan, one who has pleased the Supreme Lord and one who has developed transcendental qualities. Tasmai namanti bhutani, all the living entities offer respects to him. Nimnam apa iva swayam, just like water flows down, not automatically. Everyone bows down to a pure devotee of the Lord, although they don't desire any respect. Prabhupada writes, a devotee does not demand respect, but wherever he goes, he is honored by everyone. Dhira, dhira, janapriya, priyakaro, nirmatsaro, pujito. Shad Goswamis, it is described. Madhavendra Puri, when Gopinath stole kheer for him, and he was thinking, Abhi, everybody will come, they'll glorify me. He ran away and he went to Jagannath Puri in hurry. Pratishthar bhaye puri gela palaiya, Krishna preme pratishtha chale sange gadaiya. He ran away out of fear of fame. प्रतिष्ठा का भय, इधर उल्टा होता है लोगों को, प्रतिष्ठा नहीं मिल रहा है तो भय, but devotees प्रतिष्ठा भय. So when one becomes a pure devotee, although he does not need anything, but still he is worshipped and honored by everyone. So then Dhruva and Uttam, they also embraced each other. They were also very happy. And then Dhruva met his mother last. सबसे मिल लिए उसके बाद, now he is meeting his mother. Why he is meeting his mother last? Chakravarti Thakur writes that Suniti faints, when she sees Dhruva. So now she is recovering from fainting. So now Dhruva is meeting his mother. So Suniti embraced Dhruva, and then she did Abhishek of Dhruva with her breast milk. She is called as Veerasu. She is the mother of a great hero, Veerasu. So Prabhupada writes, there are many heroes in the world, but there is no comparison to Dhruva Maharaj, who is not only a heroic emperor, but also a great devotee. So devotee is also a great hero because he has conquered the influences of Maya. All the heroes of the world, all the kings of the world, they may conquer other people, other countries. But conquering Maya, it is a greater difficult thing. So that's how it is described like this. Veerasu. And then all the people, they are praising Suniti. By some good fortune, your son has come back. And for sure, he will protect the whole earth. Abhyarchitas tvaya nunam Bhagavan pranatartiha yan anudhyayino dhira mrityum jigyo sudurjayam. O dear queen, abhyarchitas tvaya nunam, you have certainly worshipped the Supreme Lord nicely. So Dhruva went to the forest and he is worshipping Lord, and Suniti is also worshipping the Lord in the palace. Bhagavan pranat artiha. He delivers his devotees from the greatest danger. Yad anudhyayino dhira, people who constantly meditate upon him. Mrityu jigyu, they conquer the cycle of birth and death. Sudurjayam, which is very, very difficult to conquer. So now Dhruva is entering the palace, and Uttanpad, he had brought a big elephant. So he made him sit on the back of a she-elephant along with his brother. So you can see in this picture, Dhruva is sitting, and at the back you can see Uttam is also sitting. And they both returned to the capital. And the whole city is wonderfully decorated with columns of banana leaves and mango leaves and strings of pearls, and all the natural decorations were there. No artificial flowers, nothing, all natural. They were decorated with water pots and lamps. The gates were decorated with various golden ornaments. The domes were covered with golden cloths, and there were some golden airplanes in the sky. So Chakravarti Thakur writes that there are golden airplanes, means all the devatas also came to see the return of Dhruv Maharaj, because they knew that this personality is very powerful. He stopped breathing and we were suffocating. He's such a great devotee and powerful personality. Prabhupada writes, we can observe a specific distinction between Dhruv Maharaj's time and modern days. Previously, airplanes were made up of gold. Now they are made up of tin and aluminium. This gives a hint of the opulence of Dhruv Maharaj's days and poverty of modern times. It's like Prabhupada, once he went to a place and the devotees had brought Rolls Royce. So reporters came and asked, Swamiji, you are supposed to be Indian sadhu and Indian saints. They should live simply, and your disciples have brought this Rolls Royce for you. What do you have to say about it? Prabhupada said, I am a representative of Supreme Lord, and Supreme Lord deserves the best. So they should have brought golden Rolls Royce, but somehow because they have brought this, I am accepting it out of my mercy. And they were like, Abhi kya bolna abhi? That's how Prabhupada would, give such googly answers to. So previously plates were made up of gold, फिर silver, फिर उसके बाद bronze, copper, फिर stainless steel, फिर plastic and paper plates. That's how we are advancing in civilization. It is said that all the previously they would eat in golden plates, and the sadhus, they would go and throw the golden plates and they would go to the forest. Arjuna is called as Dhananjay. Dhananjay bolte hain na. Why he was called as Dhananjay? Because after this Rajasuya Yagya had to be done, before it had to be done, so Yudhishthir said, abhi property nahi apna kuch, Kurukshetra yudh mein sab khatam ho gaya, so I need wealth. So Arjuna, what he did, he went to the northern direction, and there was a king called as his name was Marutta. He had done huge sacrifice and he had given golden ornaments and utensils to all the sages. So what they'll do, while going, they threw everything on the way and they went to the forest. So Arjuna, he went and collected all those thrown utensils and he brought. That's why he's called as Dhananjay. So Prabhupada writes in one purport, it comes in Bhagavatam only. None of the citizens also took those. मतलब ऐसा पढ़ा हुआ है तो people should have taken. They also didn't take because they knew ये अपना नहीं है. Why we should take this?
So that must have been in the previous yuga.
No, same yuga. There was another king who had done, sacrifice and given charity somewhere in the northern direction. Yudhishthir Maharaj's time also there was such opulence. Dwapar yuga, Kimte kama surasparha mukund manaso dvija adijaharu mudam ragya shuditasya yathetare. Even devatas were envious of the prosperity of Yudhishthir Maharaj's kingdom. The cows were giving milk even without being milked. Kamam vavarsha parajanya sarva kama dukhamhi. So there was opulence there that time also. And now we have become more advanced. So all the streets were sprinkled with sandalwood water, and flowers and fruits were distributed, and everywhere unbroken barley seeds and the rice, they were thrown. Akshat bolte hain na, akshat. So akshat means unbroken barley seeds and the grains. And all the ladies were offering blessings to Dhruva Maharaj. So then Dhruva, he entered the palace of his father, and the palace was really a amazing palace. It was not an ordinary palace. Payah fen nibhashaya danta rukma parichadah asanani maharhani yatra raukma upaskarah. Payah fen nibhashaya. The bedding was as white as the foam of a milk. They kind of foam of a milk. It's very white. And it was very soft. And the bedsteads were made of ivory, danta, rukma parichada, and they were embellished with maha arhani, with gold. And the chairs were also like that. Yatra sfatika kudyeshu mahamarakateshu cha mani pradipa abhanti lalana ratna sanyutah. Walls were made of marble and they had engravings of jewels, emeralds, rubies, and the maid servants were also having jewels on their heads. The same description comes in the Sudama Leela, when Sudama comes to his palace and he sees similar description uske palace ka bhi hai. So Prabhupada writes, since it is described that Dhruva ruled for 36,000 years, he must have lived in Satya Yuga. And Prabhupada says, we have seen such things in the current past also. Anyone who has seen the Red Fort in Delhi must have marked that walls are made of marble and were once decorated with jewels. During the British period, all these jewels were taken away and dispatched to British Museum. So Prabhupada says, now also it is possible. So Satyug mein it was not an astonishing thing. And then the king's residence had gardens and there were beautiful flowers and the humming bees and the lakes and everything was there. So then, in the end, he describes the glorious deeds of Dhruva Maharaj in the last verse. Uttanapado rajarshihi prabhavam tanayasyatam Shrutva drishtvaadbhutatmam prapede vismayam param. Uttanpado Rajarshi, the saintly king Uttanpad, prabhavam tanayasya, he understood how influential and great his son was. Shrutva, he heard the glorious deeds of Dhruva Maharaj and now he is personally seeing him also. He was very satisfied. Prabhupada writes, no one is more satisfied than the father of a person who is credited with glorious activities. So then in due course of time, Uttanpad, he saw that Dhruva, he is mature enough to take charge of the kingdom and the ministers were agreeable. Prabhupada writes, just see, he is a king, but he's also taking into, taking consent of all the ministers. He is not just telling, Mera beta bhi banega king. No, all the ministers are also agreeable. So he enthroned Dhruva and he entered the forest. That's the sign of a Rajarishi. Prabhupada writes, it is contrasting to all the current politicians who are removed either by cruel death or killed by some opposing political party. So that's how the Rajarishis were. So with this chapter ends. We'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any questions?
Beyond the Brahma.
After this universe, after it is destroyed, then Dhruva goes back to the spiritual world. Just like Abhi Vaikuntha, Vrindavan is also eternal abode. But it is not that Vrindavan ka land bach jata hai. No, it is not like that. The glories are eternal.
But the new loka created by God, apart from that 14 lokas.
It was already there.
Okay.
It was already there, but now it was given more importance because Lord said, I'll be staying there also.
So is it the place where Vishnu resides?
Shirodakshai Vishnu.
Shirodakshai Vishnu resides? Is it that same loka?
Same.
The whole star, right?
Whole star.
But then that has that between this world and there's that ocean, a milk ocean on
That is
which
Karana.
separates.
वो तो कारणोदक्ष है विष्णु ना.
Okay, that is
कारणोदक्ष है विष्णु. He is the super soul of cosmic manifestation, and from him all the universes come. In every universe, Garbhodaksha Vishnu enters, and then in every living entity, Garbhodaksha Vishnu expands the Shirodaksha Vishnu, and Shirodaksha Vishnu is also staying in the Shweta Dvipa.
Shweta Dvipa.
Isn't it like that when he gave his
So Shweta Dvipa is also another planet, and
It's
Dhruva
not-
is also Dhruva Loka is another planet.
Another
So
planet.
Shirodaksha Vishnu stays in many places. Shirodaksha Vishnu stays in Brahmaloka also. There is a Vaikuntha Loka above Brahmaloka also. So ordinary king of this world has many, residences. So Bhagwan ko kya problem? He also has many residences. There is one Vaikuntha on the top of Loka Loka mountain also. Loka Loka mountain is the mountain which separates Bhumandal to other regions, outside regions. Okay. Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.